Welcome once again to Bastard Quest. I'm your game bastard, Austin.
I'm Kyle.
Todd.
Tom Servo.
Wow! Guest star tonight.
Corey.
And we are once again playing Cold Shadows, the game of espionage.
Yeah, and I get to play. I don't have to GM this time, so it's pretty great.
Yeah. Kyle's done a great job so far role-playing as a spy.
Yeah, I feel like I'm probably role-playing as the best spy.
I want to figure out a way to not play or GM. I'd like to go home.
Well, the Patreon's right there, Corey.
I just want to sing.
I've always thought that about you.
Bassists never sing.
Have you not heard of Sting, my good man?
Oh, Austin tried to make a music joke, everybody.
Yeah. Failed so hard.
That's all you get.
So hard.
Gene Simmons, I mean, come on.
Are we talking about the wrestler?
Wait, what? Yes. Famous wrestling bass player Sting.
The Jaco Pastorius of the ring. That's what they called him.
So I play Bubba Tolbert, who works for the FSB. He is from Shitbritches, Missouri. And let me tell you how I got into the FSB. We were talking about this a minute ago. So I went to the University of Missouri, and we went on a trip to Eastern Europe.
A college-wide field trip.
Well, no, I was dating a girl who went because she was smart, and I went with them, and we broke up. But
He had already graded out by this point.
so we were in Poland, and I got on a train that I thought was going to take me around the capital, Poland City. And turns out, fucker went all the way to Moscow. So I'm like 3 vodkas and 10 pierogies deep in the diner car, and I wake up and I'm partying with these guys, in tracksuits, and I'm like, this is cool. Next thing I know, I'm in a damn FSB training camp, and they're like, you ever broke a man's neck? I was like, not in Missouri, as far as you know. And, long story, then I called my girlfriend, we broke up. Yeah, that's it. That's I love my real name that I think is John Dynasty.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his code name.
Yeah, well, real.
What was your girlfriend's name?
Deborah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My character is Stan Paul. His code name is Starchild. He put the X in sex, baby. He's a yoga instructor.
That was beautiful. Yeah. Do you play bass? That was a beautiful song.
Yeah. There's an X?
A word of explanation, okay? Right before we started playing this game, I happened to watch Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, which is a great movie. If you've never seen it,
It's a great movie.
Ace-
By Hanna-Barbera.
Ace Frehley was too drunk to participate, so they got a black guy and put Ace's makeup on him. It's great. But anyway, in the movie, Paul Stanley uses his star eye to read people's minds and see into the future because he has superpowers and shit.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I'm the counter intel agent. That'll be cool. I'll be the Star Child. And it turns out it's probably the worst character I've ever created. And I apologize. And I just wish this was all over.
Well, that being said, I am Enzo Picciotto. He's Italian. I, too, based it on a bad movie. Because I just watched Ferrari.
Oh, I see.
Did not care for it. But his code name is Dr. Puddles.
Yes.
I don't think I explained where that comes from.
You did not.
Well, he's the mastermind, so doctor. But Puddles, he's a bedwetter.
Oh,
Yes. What can be done?
I wet my bed one time. We were at summer camp, and Johnny Hawkins bet me $10 that I couldn't piss on that bed from across the room. And guess who won $10, Johnny, you dumbass?
I watched Gene Simmons pee on somebody.
But you wet the bed, you become a better swimmer when you're on awake hours.
Science.
The Michael Stipe.
All right.
Night swimming? Was that a night swimming joke?
Yes.
What?
Well, I mean, you're real smart, so that's probably true.
That is what I call my pee-pees at night.
Night swims?
Yes.
Nice.
Man, Greeks are weird.
All right, when last we left our heroes, for lack of a better fucking term, the bastard unit of the Command for the Hindrance of Anarchy and Mayhem, or CHAM, have been tasked with intercepting the delivery of mysterious intel identifying an international threat known as Credesco. Now, while Starchild and Dr. Puddles explore Fort Charlotte, watching carefully, Dynasty knocks out the contact with a half-consumed six-pack of beer and takes the briefcase containing the Credesco materials. Having completed this deft and elegant maneuver, Dynasty checks the case and prepares to clear the area, just as the fortress's ceremonial cannon is fired at noon. Time seems to slow down. The cheering tourists are looking up. A giant cloud of smoke blooms from the cannon, and still in slow motion, as Dynasty moves toward the stone staircase of the seaside walkway, a bullet, fired from a gun using the cannon fire as cover, slowly travels in Dynasty's direction.
Wait, have we entered the Matrix?
I've always thought I was.
Yeah.
John,
That's as much backstory as you're going to get.
his first code name was John Matrix.
But the bastards don't know about that yet, and Dr. Puddles, the mastermind of the group, is too busy watching the patrol patterns of the Royal Defense Guards to figure out how long they have to escape after one of the agents brazenly assaulted a person and then left their body lying there on the seaside walkway. So, Corey, start us off with a perception check.
Okay.
We're going to try to figure out if the agents are aware of the limited time frame that they have at their disposal here.
I mean, I feel like I can answer this.
Okay, Dr. Puddles has a 3 in perception.
Okay.
That is an 11.
Okay, great. So Dr. Puddles managed to find a vantage point where he could watch the rendezvous between Dynasty and the mysterious contact who was holding the briefcase. And he saw, right as the six-pack made contact with the contact's face, a couple of Royal Defense Guards were beginning a circuit around the lower walkway of the fortress. By Dr. Puddles' estimation, you know, when you say this shit out loud,
Yeah, it's fun.
by Dr. Puddles' estimation, you guys probably have about 5 turns, meaning we don't really work an initiative here, but I'm classifying a turn as you all 3 getting a chance to take an action.
Okay.
Probably have 5 of those turns before the guards are going to be on alert after discovering the body.
Hello, my friends. It is the Dr. Puddles. I have informations for you. Number 1, today I find out my oldest son, Paolo, has died. But what can be done? Yeah, we move on. He now riding in Jesus' little backpack like a Yoda. I am Roman Catholic.
Of course.
Gotcha.
We wrote a new Bible book,
Oh,
the Star War
cool, man.
space.
I thought it felt pretty religious when I watched it.
But also, we should leave. In the 5 minute, we will join Paolo. But we go to the hot land because we have sinned.
Oh,
But little do the agents know it might be sooner than that, for that's when the cannon fire goes off, and we'll find out if the bullet hits home on John Dynasty.
Ooh.
Now, I rolled before we started the game, but
suspicious.
we must not forget that all combat is made up of contested rolls in this game. So that's going to give you a chance to roll your resolve to see if you can, number 1, either resist the damage or evade it, even though you don't know about it.
By resist, you mean he flexes real hard and the bullet just deflects?
Deflects it with his chest.
Yeah, I got
Britches!
I got on the gym before, so.
All right, so how many dice you rolling there, Kyle?
Well, my resolve is 3,
All right.
and I am drunk. So I'm going to use Hold My Beer to invoke my plus 3D on any risk when drunk, and I feel like this is a risk.
It is.
So I'm going to roll 60.
Okay.
22.
22, that's pretty good. Interesting. Just as John Dynasty looks up and sees the beautiful woman he ran into at the cafe earlier when he was looking for the man that was watching them in the hotel room, there's a brief spit, but no one hears anything because of the cannon fire, and he feels an excruciating pain in the side of his stomach. So, in addition to the female agent's violence, we're also rolling 2d6 for the surprise attack. We are actually invoking the teamwork aspect because she is assisting people that as yet are unknown in the crowd. We have spent a point of trust, and as a freelancer, we get a plus 1d to acts of violence. Now, I took all of those, and I wagered 2 dice and rolled a total of 40.
Jesus.
So Kyle takes a rank 3 injury. So as Dynasty is nearing the stone steps, he looks up and sees the beautiful woman he saw at the cafe earlier, and just then feels an excruciating pain in his lower side. He's not down, but he is staggering, and now we have to figure out some way to get Dynasty out of there.
It's just like the Deborah breakup.
Yeah, this is basically what happened. Deborah shot me. Well, John Dynasty, like any good spy, is going to immediately panic and run. Oh!
So, Todd, I'm going to give you a free chance to make an action since you're the only one who has not gone yet in this round.
How far away am I from Dynasty?
You and Dr. Puddles never entirely specified where you wanted to be after Dynasty went down to meet with the contact, but I assume Starchild is still kind of patrolling the outer perimeter of that top level, keeping watch.
Can I use my magical star powers to teleport to Kyle?
That's a good question. You may not.
Damn it. I just realized, and if I was going to pick the worst Kiss member, like, Gene Simmons breathes fire, and then Ace Frehley's like from space, and then
Are you telling me that
Peter Criss is a cat?
you believe Peter Criss is not the worst one?
He's a cat.
They're dangerous.
Yeah. Paul Stanley literally has a star over one eye. What the fuck even is that?
I mean, cats and horses kill more people than bees. Look it up.
Yeah, that's true.
Much more than stars.
Yeah, the original script of My Girl was,
Trampled by horses.
yeah.
With a cat on them.
All right. Well, Starchild is going to use his athleticism.
All right, so first of all, how do you want to build your dice pool?
So for my dice pool, I'm going to begin with my athleticism, which is a 3. And I am going to invoke an aspect bonus for a +3. I'm going to use reckless behavior. That is any risk that is impetuous or spontaneous.
That counts.
He is a yoga instructor, so he's very limber. So he is going to cartwheel through the crowd in order to get to John Dynasty faster.
Subtle. I like it.
Yeah, I'm rolling 6.
Total of
D6.
6 dice. And you know what? Throw in another one, because I think this counts as your code name being relevant, because only someone named Starchild is going to try to make a maneuver in that way.
Of course. Thank you, Austin.
See, Gene Simmons wouldn't do that. He'd never cartwheel.
No.
Point
No.
Paul Stanley.
14
All right.
is my total.
And as we all know, target number for all risks are just 10 in this game. And this one was not a contested risk. So we're going to say Starchild leaps out of the crowd halfway down the steps, seizes Dynasty, and tugs him along into the crowd. We cut over to the female agent who has just shot Dynasty, trying to get another bead on him. But of course, she can't fire another shot because there's going to be no more cannon fire to cover her. And so she closes in with her knife. But just as she gets closer, this guy with a star tattooed over his eye just leaps out of the crowd, grabs Dynasty by the jacket, and tugs him in further into the crowd. And they kind of get lost in the roiling crowd of tourists. Now you guys have 4 rounds to try and get to the exit as this female agent hunts you down.
And we're all in a pretty good vantage point to see what's happening, right? Basically, I'm trying to figure out if Enzo saw this and sees the woman agent.
So you already rolled perception to see Dynasty's meeting with the contact?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say you were aware of where Dynasty and Starchild were. If you want to know where the enemy agent is, I'm just going to go ahead and name her so that we can refer to her easier. It's Laura B., named for Patreon member Laura B.
Oh, thanks, Laura.
Laura is secretly hidden within the crowd, moving forward with a combat knife hidden under her purse. And if you want to find out exactly where she is, you're going to have to make another perception roll.
Okay.
And just to give a little sense of orientation, all 3 bastards are now on the upper level of the fortress, but they're still out on the outer wing that kind of looks out over the sea. And there's probably about 200 yards between you and the main entrance gate to the roped off path that the tourists are winding through to get into the fortress and out.
So I think I may be able to get an extra die by relating this to my code name, Dr. Puddles.
Please tell me.
When the cannons went off, it kind of startled
Oh, God.
Dr. Puddles, and a little bit trickled out, like down his leg. He's like, oh, dear.
All right, take +1.
It must be Napa time.
Although I'm going to dock you a die in the future for standing out in a crowd, because now the whole crowd thinks this guy pissed his pants.
No, it's not a full-on pee. It's a trickle. It's just a little.
That's fine. Anytime you need to blend into the crowd, I'm going to dock you a die.
It's not a full-on, like, gushing. It's like you sneeze and fart at the same time. It's
Is
like,
this the arguments you had with your parents when you used to wet the bed?
I've never.
I'm talking to your character.
Oh, okay. No, they were very accepting.
Not like that kid where his parents hung his pee sheets out the window and he had to run home from school to take them down every day, right? Wasn't that like a movie of the week?
Yeah, John Travolta was in it.
Carrie. They're all going to laugh at you. So, yeah, I'm going to say the trickle helps his focus. Because it makes him feel like he's well rested.
Uh-huh. All right, hang on. I'm going to make a tick on my bastard bingo card.
Okay.
The trickle helps the focus. Got it.
Yes. So that'll be 4d6.
Okay. You want to wager anything?
The gambling is a sin, no.
Okay.
I'm already going to HE double hockey stick. That's 18.
So as Starchild tugs Dynasty through the crowd, trying to lead him toward the door, Puddles kind of stands sentinel at the top of one of the ramparts of the fortress, and he does manage to spot Laura kind of replacing her pistol in her jacket as she kind of melts into the crowd, heading in the direction of Dynasty and Starchild. So you know she's closing in. She's probably about 20 feet from them. You're all moving kind of in the direction of the exit at this point. Puddles is about 50 feet behind. All right, so now what we're going to do is a little mini set piece here that we'll treat as violence, but it's really going to be about maneuvering through the crowd. And we'll treat this like a chase. Basically what's happening is Laura is trying to close the distance between you, and you are trying to both outpace and outmaneuver her through the crowd in order to keep obstacles between you. So she's going to be using her charisma to sweet talk her way through the crowd, wink at, somebody every now and then just to get them to stop and let her pass. What would you guys like to use? I'm going to let you make this together. And like I said, we'll treat this like a violence risk where we'll just narrate events in descending order of our roles.
Starchild is going to use his perception to kind of see like the quickest way out and away from danger.
His star eye is like Terminator vision.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But instead of numbers and information, it's just like he sees like this rainbow path to follow.
Yes, exactly. And I haven't invoked my teamwork yet, so I'm going to invoke teamwork. That's a +3 when helping a fellow agent accomplish a common goal.
All right.
So my dice pool is 8.
All right.
So what I'm doing is I'm just keeping pace, and every once in a while, if there's like a kid or something, and they've got like a stuffed animal in their hands, I grab it and throw it on the ground behind me, so they scream and run after it. Or like if somebody's carrying like a bunch of paws or something, I trip them.
Okay. What virtue are you using for that?
Violence.
Like 2 guys just randomly carrying a plate glass window through the crowd.
Yeah. Like there's a baby with a lollipop, I take that shit.
Why did they choose to pull the piano to the top of the building today?
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
If there's like an old man with a cane, I kick the cane.
Why is there a guy painting a hole in the side of the wall? Not even train tracks.
I just go full asshole.
Oh, look, there's a fruit cart.
Yeah. Man, there's fruit carts everywhere.
Unbeknownst to the agents, Laura smiles as she begins following the trail of dropped stuffed animals right to the agents. All right, so I'm rolling a total of 7 die. I think I'm going to wager 2, and if I do manage to roll higher than you guys, I'm going to get a couple extra details to the scene.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but my reputation inspires fear, so any enemy facing me gets a -1d to their roll.
Oh, interesting. I'll take that off. So now I'm just going to wager 1. All right, so have we all got our dice pools?
Yeah, I'm going to use violence and quick.
I am going to invoke the lucky advantage because I rolled 4 1s.
I am going to do the same because I rolled 3 1s. For those of you who don't know, lucky, you get 3 re-rolls per game for any dice result of 1.
I'm going to use my character aspect called That's Bullshit because I don't have it.
All right, here we go. And I rolled 3 1s again.
Jeez.
Nice.
Austin.
It's the one time it's actually been an advantage, huh? All right, I rolled a total of 8, so I just straight up failed.
23.
27.
All right, so Todd, you go first.
As John Dynasty and Starchild make their way through the crowd, John Dynasty's bleeding like a stuck pig, and Starchild is using, all of his limberness to get him out of there. One of the stuffed animals that John Dynasty threw on the ground, a child ran after it, and Laura actually trips over the child.
Ah, okay.
And just kind of like face plants right there. And Starchild is like, Nassau, we love you. Good night. And they haul ass out of the crowd to the exit.
All right, so you're about halfway there.
So as they're moving through, John Dynasty cracked open another beer. He's leaning heavily on Starchild. His Mayor of Tittytown t-shirt is ruined. And they pass by a t-shirt vendor. So he's like, hey man, I gotta fix this. And he goes up, and all the t-shirts are crap. Not one federal body inspector t-shirt. No beer or NASCAR, baseball related, nothing. He settles for, came all the way to the Bahamas, and all I got was a stupid t-shirt, and switches that out and uses his mayor shirt as a crude bandage. And he also gets a baseball cap and pays him with some money that he stole from a tourist.
And the rest of the six-pack.
Yeah, just leaves a six-pack there with a bloody handprint on it.
You forgot your change, sir.
And they go on that way. He's got a new t-shirt on.
So he'll be unrecognizable.
Completely.
Of course.
Does he get a cover bonus now, Austin?
Kind of a master disguise, man.
All right, so you're probably about one round away from being able to get out of the gates. Puddles is beginning to catch up. He lost him for a second, but then he noticed the tiny commotion in the crowd when Laura fell on her face, tripping over one of the stuffed animals.
No, she fell over a child.
Ah, I see. Puddles gets his bearings back, and he starts cutting a shorter angle across the crowd, trying to close in on his team members. So we're going to do another collective round to try and maneuver through the crowd, and now you guys can all roll together.
Starchild using perception, 5d6.
John Dynasty is going to be lying to some security guards about some stuff, and I'm going to be assembling my resolve. Don't trust the dossier. Risk relates to Codenames meeting. Bonus if a risk uses your cover. I'm going to be using all those things.
Okay. How's the risk relate to your Codenames meeting this time?
You're going to see.
I'm going to need you to tell me at least a little.
Well, maybe John Dynasty, famous Bass Pro fisherman,
Okay.
had a problem with an ex-girlfriend in the crowd. GM. That happens all the time to John Dynasty.
Okay, and they've heard of John Dynasty?
Well, everybody's heard of John Dynasty, man. He's number one on the Bass Pro circuit.
I will remind the gallery at large that Dynasty is the code name and not your real name.
Do you really think this character's smart enough to not use his code name all the time?
Is that when your actual
Constantly.
nom de plume on
Constantly.
your how to catch bass?
Yeah, they gave it to him and he thought it was amazing, so he uses it constantly. It's the most unsecret code name in the spy industry.
Austin, do you think Dan Whitney gets free drinks or like free food or like gets best seats in a restaurant because he's Dan Whitney? No, he does it because he's Larry the fucking Cable Guy.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, Bubba Tolbert has not used Bubba Tolbert in going on 10 years.
Okay.
You can call me Enzo if you wish. I am fine with either.
I will. So, Enzo, how are you putting your dice pool together?
With haste. Well, first off, Dr. Puddles has made it to the t-shirt stand, and he purchases a pastel orange t-shirt that says, "I'm one hot Bahama grandmama," and puts it on to blend in.
Sure.
He's also going to use Don't Trust the Dossier.
Okay. What's he lying about, other than being a grandma?
He starts shouting to the crowd, "Oh, my youngest son is on fire. I must get out first. Please move." Oh, what can be done? I must move faster than you.
Very interesting home life Enzo has.
Well, these agents are taking kind of conspicuous methods to try and move through the crowd quicker, just sacrificing stealth, which is okay. But that means Laura can see what they're doing, and she just kind of determinedly shoulders her way through the crowd, now just using violence to try and move in as quick as she can and knife this asshole in the ribs and take his briefcase.
Austin, would you repeat which virtue you're using, please?
Yeah, I'm using my violence.
Well, guess what?
Oh.
Starchild is a counterintelligence agent. One of his benefits is he's skilled at disrupting plans. So any agent who makes a violence risk against me must set aside dice from their pool equal to my rank before you make your roll.
Oh, shit. And you're a rank 2,
And I'm a rank fucking 2.
Gosh,
Nice. Okay.
darn it.
That knocks me down from 8 to 6.
And she still suffers under the fact that John Dynasty's reputation inspires fear.
Well, I'd also like to use an operational advantage here.
Okay.
I want to use verifiable fact. When speaking to a character or group, all in attendance believe what you were saying.
Okay, done.
This guy's kid's on fire! Move! Yes,
right.
he's burning faster than
All
that.
right, so there's not a specific advantage that can come from that, but I'm going to say you get one more dice.
Okay.
All right, so I'm down to 6.
So I guess my virtue I'm using on this is charisma.
Yes, if you're lying.
Okay, so that's 3D. I get +3 for lying, and I get +1 with my verifiable fact. So I'm rolling 7.
I'm wagering 2 dice, Austin.
Oh, okay. So you're not taking an action directly against someone, but if your roll is successful, which I assume it will be, you'll be able to use those wagers as either +1s to try and get a higher roll result than I do, or you can use them to add additional details to the scene.
Cool.
Starchild will be using Lucky. We can use that 3 times per game, right?
Yes.
Now, is that the overall game, or is that the session?
We're going to say session.
Okay, because I've used it once, so I'll have 1 left after this, but I rolled 2 1s, so I'm going to re-roll those.
Okay.
Starchild's total is 18.
Dr. Puddle's got a 21.
John Dynasty is a 25.
Nice.
Oh, Laura rolled a 25.
Well, I got some wagers over here.
You do.
It says piss off. That's what they say.
All right, so then this is the way that'll go. Kyle, you'll get to go first, and then I'll go, and then Corey, and then Todd.
So I need to spend one of these wagers to make
beat my roll.
to make it a 26.
Okay.
And the other I can put in. Now, do I add this to the trust pool or do I add another narrative detail?
You can add it to the trust pool if you want, or you can just add an additional detail to the scene.
So as Starchild and John Dynasty are heading down the tunnel that leads out of the fort, there's security guards. Let's face it, this is the Bahamas. These might not be the most alert security guards. But John Dynasty goes up to them. Hey, how y'all doing? As you probably know, I'm pro bass fisherman John Dynasty. I feel like some of you fellows recognized me on the way in. They do not look like they did. But he says, you know what, fellas, I'm going to be honest with you. I got an ex-girlfriend back there, and she's crazy. Her name is Deborah, and he describes what Laura looked like. He pulls back his coat to show the wound. I'm going to be honest, fellas. She already stabbed me once, and she's coming for more, and I'd appreciate it if I could get a little security assistance up in here. And so these guards, seeing a man who's obviously bleeding profusely, run down the corridor to look for this crazy woman wielding a knife. And so John Dynasty just slips out, and that's when an Uber just drives right up. Because he called an Uber about 15 minutes ago. The Uber is my other wager that I'm spending.
Laura curses to herself as she overhears the distant words of John Dynasty to the guards and knows she has to get rid of the knife. But as she closes in on the 2 remaining agents, she gets an idea on how to get rid of it. And she takes aim and hurls the knife at the skinny one. So, Corey, Laura is going to throw her knife very subtly through a gap in the crowd and try to harm Dr. Puddles.
Okay, he uses his thinness to turn as the knife harmlessly whizzes by.
Now, all of our rolls were a success, but I did not wager any because y'all took away some of my dice.
Okay.
So you only take 1 injury from it.
Well, as a mastermind, I get the benefit you always plan ahead, and I get 1 extra operational advantage per mission.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm going to use Field Hospital and reduce an injury by 3.
That won't change your injury in the moment, but I will make sure that it doesn't penalize any of your rolls moving forward because we're essentially coming to the end of a scene.
Yes, my thinness has saved me. I mostly eat the olive oils.
Yeah. So,
Mediterranean diet. It's very healthy.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to understand why he wets the bed.
It's less wet than it is oily.
so as she moves through the archway of the entrance to the fortress, Laura hurls this knife and it just sinks into the back of Dr. Puddle's right calf. And he staggers a bit, but he's able to make it to the Uber.
Shotgun.
All right, so having disposed of her knife, Laura is able to kind of melt into the crowd, and she ducks aside as 2 of the guards run past her looking for what they probably only assume is a crazy woman in a muumuu with a knife. And then she starts to close in again to see if she can make one final ditch effort before they can all get in the car. Now, Corey, you used your operational advantage as kind of a defense against being wounded.
Okay.
And that will count. Pretty much once this scene's over, you don't have to worry about that injury. But that still does not count as your roll. So you still get to kind of narrate what happened as a result of Dr. Puddle's success.
Okay. So basically, my wound closes up like an oily T1000.
Why does it have to be oily?
Olive oil.
Yeah, my diet.
Are you that Russian that keeps injecting his shit with olive oil?
So basically, Dynasty and Puddles are in the car. We're just waiting on Starchild to make it as well.
Dynasty's definitely in. Starchild is going to get there,
Right.
but he's still got things in mind to do as well.
Okay. So basically, Puddles just continues his, woe is me, and woe for poor Tomasino. He is yet again on fire. How this happens so many times. We keep the home so wet.
This random civilian in a mesh tank top that's like 6'7" pulls him aside briefly and says, "Sir, I'm a firefighter. Do you need assistance?"
No, he will Peter out.
And Puddles makes his way kind of through the crowd.
Yes, thank you for your service, Mr. Fire.
So, Todd?
Starchild is making his way toward the exit. He turns, he sees Laura still trying to make her way towards him. She is closing the distance between them. He looks towards the exit. He sees the Uber with Dr. Puddles and John Dynasty already sitting in it. And he also sees something else. Right there at the exit to the fortress, there's a vendor selling boxes of marbles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Bahamas, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the height of the Roger Moore era, I'm quickly
it's
feeling.
the national fruit there.
Right. Uh-huh. So he purchases a box of marbles, and
I love that we're rushing out. We've made so many shopping stops.
I would like to roll shopping, please.
I thought you were going to overturn the cart or something. He's far more polite.
Oh, look, a taco truck.
So he buys a box of marbles, and just as Laura begins to close the gap, he throws the box on the ground. Marbles go everywhere, and Laura slips, lands flat on her back as Starchild gives the devil horn signal, hops into the Uber so that they can escape.
How the woman the falling.
Laura is so shocked and winded by falling on her back that they actually have time to tip the random wino that has begun washing the windshield of the Uber, and then the car takes off.
Goodbye, female agent woman. You also fell into a little bit of my trickle.
Goodbye, Laura. Sorry you're such a hard luck woman. Yeah, baby.
In the face.
I'm still pretty shot. So, I mean, if we could just go to like the hospital, that'd be awesome.
I too have the leakage.
Well, mine is blood.
So you get back to your safe house as Dr. Puddles tends to Dynasty's wounds, which is ill-advised. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, can I use the field hospital objective
Absolutely.
thing?
Worry not, my friend. I pee on it like a jellyfish.
I do not allow that.
That's the only reasonable thing Dynasty's ever said.
I will shoot you, Italian.
It would
You're a
not-
cool guy, but
Yes, it happened.
okay. So I've used the field hospital objective to erase my 3
Your
injuries.
injuries.
Yeah,
All right.
and that is my one operational advantage for this mission.
Yep. And we have evoked 3 of those this game, and just for those that haven't gone through a complete rundown of Cold Shadows, operational advantages are basically more developed acts of espionage that the agents can use. Field Hospital and Verifiable Fact, the ones that we've used, really just kind of give the agents an advantage in the moment, but there are some more elaborate ones like blackmail, target an agent's aspect for leverage, and you cancel out their benefit for the rest of the mission, which is pretty strong. So, like, say, for example, if Laura were to blackmail Dynasty for being a drunk idiot, he couldn't basically use the dice bonus that comes with Hold My Beer for the rest of the mission.
I mean, it's adorable. You think that's something he could be blackmailed over. That would imply literally everyone he's met didn't know that instantly.
All right, so that's kind of the big chase set piece for this adventure. This was chapter 2, Live and Let Die.
And we've got 15 more chapters. Is that right?
There's probably just one more.
Oh.
Okay. That is good because I was not lying. Tomasino is on fire.
Oh.
Yes, he burned ever so quickly.
Okay. Is this
I
a...
apologize for this fucking accent. It is not Italian. Sometimes it's very Dracula, I've noticed. I want to suck your olive oil. Yes. Apologize to all fucking nations. God damn it.
I don't apologize to Missouri.
No one does. So in the shelter of your safe house, you're able to get the briefcase open. The contents themselves are actually underwhelming. A stack of dossier sheets completely redacted except for code names that mean nothing to you. The only other piece of paper inside is a brief report summary, but it tells you everything you need to know. Essentially, Crudesco is not a weapon or a code name for some act of dissidence against a nation or ideology. Crudesco is an organization. This radical collection of rogue spies who are collecting reports on the intelligence being withheld by one intelligence agency from another. So basically, a bunch of rogue spies working for all the intelligence agencies of the world, and somewhere out there, they are collating and cataloging the intel of nations who are spying on each other. Obviously, this happens all the time. That's nothing big. But most of the time, you'll find intelligence agencies kind of cooperating and collaborating with each other. I'll trade you what I know about you for what you know about me, or vice versa, or what you know about somebody else. But everyone has things that they kind of keep close to the chest, and every agency is the same way. And if there is an organization out there that is threatening to kind of blow open the black boxes, that could be pretty bad for especially the nations that work together. Some of this explosive material is being used to extort resources from individual agencies. Most of the material is just being stored, but it's not known yet how they operate or from where. You receive a message on one of your smartphones. It is the director, Neil. So you answer it, and you see his face saying, "Bastards! Well, first off, I would like to congratulate you on not only collecting the Crudesco intel, but giving a whole new meaning to the phrase dead drop." He's looking mostly at John Dynasty.
Who salutes?
I've been on the phone with Bahamas Royal Defense and bought you 24 hours before the Army comes looking for you. It was quite a mess you made of that delivery.
I didn't shoot anybody, for the record.
Yes, but you deserved it.
I feel like that's a step in the right direction compared to what happened in Malta.
I want you to use this remaining 24 hours to dig into Blacksmith. He somehow found out about the Crudesco information, and I want to know how he knew about it before we did. The only resource left to us is his yacht, which is moored in Paradise Harbor. I want you to go there and look for any other evidence you can find.
Okay.
And when the agents leave the safe house headed for the yacht, they don't yet see the car following them about 200 yards back.
It may be the Bahama Army, because that's like 6 dudes. Who is attacking this country? Why do they need military? I do not know.
Hey, John Dynasty, after we are done with this mission, since we're going to a yacht, how about you and me do a little fishing when we're done?
Yeah, man. Bass Pro Fisherman is just my cover, but I'm actually really good at fishing as long as the key part of fishing is drinking beer.
I'll make sure we have some ladies there. You know what I'm saying? Baby!
And that's where we fade out for this episode.
Professionals.
Yes.
That's the title that comes up.
Yeah.
So that one was actually pretty exciting. You guys did a pretty great job at navigating a bunch of civilians, number one, a number of very armed guards, number two, and the spy that was hunting you in the crowd.
We did not commit any acts of violence, I would like to point out.
You did not. I'm so impressed.
And let that be a lesson to anyone stuck in a large crowd that's slow moving. Just scream, your child's on fire.
Yeah.
Or rip toys from children's hands so they'll leap for them and trip up whoever's chasing you.
I do that anyway. Yeah. How else you going to survive Disney World?
I started to say, I've seen the pictures. Y'all, fast pass, fuck that.
Yeah. Oh, look, little girl, Minnie's running away.
Kyle's always first in line.
Their parents get so mad.
All right, so how are you guys liking this so far?
It's complicated.
It is.
probably more complicated than a lot of stuff we typically play, but I think that's just our format, being a podcast.
Yeah, I will kind of give a disclaimer. I think Kyle is a little bit better than I am at kind of adapting most any system for our simplified format.
Well, he's got 30 years on you.
I've done the best I can. And there are things that I have changed for those of you out there that are following along with the rules.
As always.
But for the most part, it kind of comes down to stacking up those dice pools. And just figuring out the factors is really the most complicated aspect.
Yeah, it's not that the rules are complicated. The core mechanic is pretty straightforward. There's just a lot on the character sheet. And we're just, we've only played this 2 sessions, so.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who has really stacked dice pools? NorseFoundry.com.
Holy shit.
You need dice, that's where you need to go. You get on your mobile device, you get on your laptop, you get on your tower system, your tablet, whatever you got that will connect you to the internet, and you type in NorseFoundry.com. You'll see all kinds of different dice and all kinds of different materials, colors, shapes, and sizes. And when you choose your dice and you're checking out, type in the promo code CHAM, that's CHAM, to receive the Bastard Quest 10% discount. That's NorseFoundry.com. And also, we would like to thank our sponsor, Barrel and Bond, 100 Broadway Street in beautiful downtown Paducah, right there on the banks of the Ohio River. Stop by the marble vendor.
It's new. It's a thing they're trying.
And as always, thanks to all of our listeners, all of our social media followers, all of our patrons. We love you. We couldn't do it without you.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you. I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.